All right. So the whole purpose, I've been getting a lot of calls these days asking, where do we invest in? Is the market going to continue to go down, or is it the right time to invest? And let's get some of those answers out of our way. How to trade the current markets? It's really volatile. I've got a lot of calls, people losing a lot of money, and at the same time, people who have never invested in their lives are willing to start investing. So this different kind of combinations that have come through. I thought, all right, let's talk. What is the basic way of trading? So the group contains of different skill sets. Some are very new. Some of them are already trading actively. So let's touch at a high level so it can address everybody's needs. And at the same time, for those that do not have the basics, but I would use some technical terms, I will not be getting into the details of covering the basics, but at the same time, you can always reach out to me. I'm going to give you a number as well as an email address. My responses will not be as, should I say, responsive immediately, but I will make sure based on the questions that will come through, I will do another session to address those basics if needed or get into advanced sessions if necessary, right? So let me get into the next time. General background, trading wise, right? There are three different trading styles people prefer. One is day trading, where people mostly are like full time day traders because that's all they do all day, open up trades, close trades within the same day. And that is exactly what will be day trading. That is the criteria. You open up all trades and close all trades within the same day. Have I done this? I've done this one, but I've not done this. I do this manually too, but most of the times when I do that, it's going to be programmatic, which means I have my programs and the system automatically opens up trades, closes trades, and it knows conditions, when to open, which ones to open, and all of that. So there's a lot of people that do it manually. Day trading, you can day trade stocks, ETFs, whatever you want. But the people that generally day trade full time basis, day trade on futures because there's a lot of volatility on that, as well as there's a lot of returns. It comes with the risk too. Swing trading are those that people want to enter for a few days. It could be a few weeks, but not more than that. So they open up few days, you close those. And there's different risk reward that goes with that, and the investment that goes with that. Day trading goes with a lot of investment. Swing trading goes down a little bit. You don't do all in on swing trades because you generally try to give enough breathing room for the trade to pan out before you take a loss or a profit. But typically you hold it for a few days or weeks and then you shut down the trade. Buy and hold strategies, which most of them are into, especially our retirement funds, mutual funds, and all of these. You just put it into something, some index. Most of those do not know our mutual funds, where are they invested. You just invest in there. If it's doing good, you're happy about it. In conditions like this, you end up taking about 50% loss, not knowing what's happening in the market. There are ways that you can handle that. Talk to the service provider, figure out what is the stable mutual fund that's out there, and don't assume that you can just stick in there just and you don't have any way to get out of that mode. You can always get into some kind of a stable fund in the portfolio. You can talk to the service provider, figure out which one it is, and get into that. But how do you know when to go into a stable fund versus when to go into a volatile fund on an index kind of a fund? We can go through those items in a little bit. Risk reward, this is in each one of these items on day trading, swing, buy and hold. Your risk rewards are going to be different. Your calculation of position sizes, when I say position sizes, this means how many shares to buy of a particular stock, how many stocks are you going to put in your portfolio, right? All of this goes with risk reward. And if we do not know how to do this math, we are probably taking a lot of risk on there anyways. Trading instruments at a high level, if it's only retirement funds that you have in your accounts, it'll be mostly mutual funds. And some of them would allow ETFs and stuff if it's Fidelity kind of brokerages. But some of them have mutual funds, index based. You could do stocks, options, futures. This is typically the level two that it goes. You end up starting with mutual funds where you don't have much control on. Then you want to start with ETFs or stocks, indices, and then once you kind of get into that high level, you get into options, and then the advanced level could be futures. So technical analysis, we need to have basic understanding on support resistance lines, Fibonacci retracement, moving averages, and such kind of things, because you do not want to go off of fundamentals all of the time. When I say fundamentals, it's mostly around news and activities, market conditions that are happening. You do not want to purely go off of that one. The main reason would be it causes confusion. When you say causes confusion, you will have market reacting differently, the news being different, and the community, when you're talking to people, have another opinion on top of that. So in order to make your own decision, it's always good to have the technical background. Does not mean technical background as programming background, just to read charts. What do the charts contain? How do you lay out these charts? We'll go through some of these charts today and give you a high level idea on what these mean. And if it requires that we do different sessions on technical analysis, then we can definitely get into the depth, but create a different session for that one, so we don't end up using time on today's session. Market direction is a very critical thing that I go off of on my basis for trading, which is trade in the direction of trend, right? A lot of people do not know what the market direction is. As long as they see news, as long as they hear that the index is going up, it's all good. That is market direction. But how do you know when it is changing direction, right? How do you know that you have to get out of your funds? How do you know that you need to scale up, scale down? So let's go through the next slide here. So this is a slide of, let's see, starting from September all the way until today, until this weekend, let's say. This is April. So what I have here at the bottom, this is a program that I've written that will give you all kinds of colors here. I shouldn't say all kinds, there's only two colors here, green and red. When all these colors and each of these horizontal lines line up to be green, then that means the market direction is green. That means you need to go long, we mean upward direction. So I'll be using different words like long, it still means uptrend. Anything that you have to go in a buy direction is green. When you see red, it means short direction. And if you have to short the market. For those who do not know how to short the market, which means when the market is crashing, there are opportunities that you can make money. And a lot of people do not know how to make money when the market's crashing. They assume everybody else is also losing money. That's not a true statement. So we also have to learn those tricks on how do we short the market? How do you make money when the market's crashing? Because that is the time you end up making more money. For example, this entire move that you see from February 21st, this vertical line that I have here, February 21st, this was the peak. And from there on until probably end of March or so, the market tanked. And the market tanked so much that it kind of took all the profits off from the last 4 years that it has made profits. So if you've not entered the markets in the last 4 years and you got in March, you didn't miss much because people are back again to where they were 4 years ago. All right. So good and bad statement, right? Because there are ways to stay in the market. There are ways to get out of the market. You can make money both directions. And that is what we want to know by market direction and how do we play it right? How do you invest right? We will get into this live chart in a little bit. I will open up for a few questions briefly before I get into the live charts, but let me get through the other slides too at the same time. This is a chart right from, let's see, October of 2007. This is the last market crash, right? 2008, 2009, and then you have the recovery period that is about 2009 and go forward, right? So the reason I pulled up this chart is I wanted you to see how the market tanked and how long did it take, right? It does not necessarily mean that the market is going to tank this much. It's going to take the same duration and the recovery is going to be in the same frame. That's not the intent of this the slide here. This is just to say this is how it's gone. But if you watch carefully, the market did not tank all the way down in a 45-degree angle, right? It took its own turns, it's come down, it's moved upwards, right? then it dropped and moved upwards. This upwards is called a pullback. The other term is also called a retracement. It drops, a bit of retracement, then drops again, retracement again, drops, retracement, and falls down, 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 right? There are multiple different technical indicators that will tell you, like MACD is one of them, which is convergence, divergence, which is going to tell you, what is it going to reverse? So there are different technical analysis aspects that we could learn to kind of gauge this one. Basics would be trend lines, support lines. Now, the question is, how do we know if it's really going up after this part? Because we've seen multiple times that the market is trying to move up, but it did not make it. It's again come down. But this time when it made it in 2009, do you know? Of course, we don't know. It's the same thing with what's happening today too. Do we know? Is it one of the retracements? Is it a pullback? Is it coming down? We don't know. That is where we would come up with this concept of scaling up and scaling down. When you see the market is going in a reverse direction, can you go back into cash, right? Or can you go into a hedge position? Or can you go into cash position, right? How do you do that? And how do you get back in with a strong confidence level saying, you know what, it's been down this much, let's wait until the retracement is completed, let's get back down, right? And then the question also comes down to, what do I trade, and do I just trade the index, right? We'll touch that aspect in a little bit when we get into the live charts. Next slide. See, how do you trade the current trends? So what we will do is we'll go through these slides briefly, another 10 minutes or so, but I will open it up for questions after that. Then we'll touch on the live charts based on this information that we have here. So very important information on the slide. Market direction, not market conditions, right? Let's take today's conditions, right? If you really look at today's condition, everything is actually getting worse, right? There's no improvement. The only improvement that you say is the government is spending enough to make sure you recover from the market condition, but has it really recovered? Do we have a solution? We don't. Are the businesses suffering? Are people suffering? Employment suffering? Yes. But did you see that the markets have gone up the last week and considerably? From the time the markets crashed from February end to March end, we have recovered close to 50% on the S&P 500 index. But have we really seen any improvement in market conditions? No. So what I'm trying to say is, we do not go off of market conditions. We go off of market direction, right? Now, what is the difference? You may ask me, why do we have to look for market direction, not market conditions, right? What you need to understand in the stock markets is not about today's value. Stock market is always being optimistic about tomorrow, right? Optimistic or pessimistic. So all of this information that you've seen are happening in market conditions is already reflected a month ago in the markets. People are already skeptical. They got out of the markets. There were a lot of sell-offs, right? People got into short direction. All this has happened, but laymen like us go off of market conditions, looking at news, reading at news, things are not bad. We should not be investing anymore, or, different perspectives. And there are some that say, this is the right time to get into the market. This is cheap to buy, but you don't have the right experience. What will happen is you get into the market and the market takes on, you get some profits, right? Typical psychology. I'm touching the last point here. So what happens, you make some money, right? And then the market goes against you and say, I didn't lose any money, right? I'm not even at my break even. Then you go break even, you say, I didn't lose money. I'm fine. It's going to come back up, because you don't understand the risk and reward side of it, and the psychology, the emotions, everything kicks in, and you'll say, not too bad. Then it drops a little bit more, and you'll say, I can take that much, but I know it's pretty sure it's cheap right now. I'm going to buy it right now, right? I'm going to put more, I can buy more stocks so I can invest more, make more money, and the market keeps tanking even more. You reach a point and you say, I lost half of my account. Should I stay in the trade anymore? If I get out, I'm going to get out with 50% losses. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just wait and then see if the market turns around. It might take a year, it might take 2 years, it's going to come back on. And then you lock your investments into something that is a loss situation, and you never get out of it. And the same thing happens with our retirement funds. It happened in February, it started going down. We don't know what to do. We just think, let's see, it'll come back on. Every single time in the last 4 years when the correction happened, the market kept going up, back again, it's going to come back up again, right? And you don't take an action. And this time it went down, it really went through pretty deep. And if you talk to financial advisors, they are all saying, you know what, it's going to come up. Don't worry about it, right? Nobody is at loss. They are not at loss, right? Who is at loss is at you. You need to make the right decisions, sometimes overriding the decision of your financial advisors and say, you know what, I want to go in cash. I'm not comfortable with what's going on in the markets, right? And some of the stories I heard from the financial advisors is, oh, you are actually playing with the house money. That means you've made money in the last 4 years and you're playing with house money. So don't worry about it. You know what? You're playing with house money. You're fine. You didn't lose money, right? And 2 weeks later, 4 years down, and you are definitely into losses, then you'll find another reason. It cannot go any lower. It's going to come back up. So try to make your own decisions. Look for market directions, not market conditions. Do your own market research. Find how to scale up, scale down. Don't put 100% in at all time. And the fourth point I want to specify here is try to get into basket trading. And the fifth one there is keep it simple. Don't try to look for something that is like the shiny penny syndrome, where this is going to go 100% up, 300% up, 500% up. I'm going to put it all in on one stock, right? Zoom, like example, we're using this for our meeting here. These guys have really pulled off in market conditions. Everybody started using Zoom. It's all good. If you're able to find one like that early on, it's good. But if you're too late in the game, I don't want any of us making those kind of decisions, finding that one single item that will make $1 million. Don't do that. Try to put it into a basket and have the basket spread out, diversified into different industries. And if you have to go further deep into the market research side of it, you'll have to see market direction, look out for sectors, look out for industries, find individual stocks within them. So it is a process. Do we have time to do all of that? Probably not. We're busy with our own lives, especially with kids at home, everybody else working from home. It's become a new lifestyle. We're trying to all get adjusted, but we still don't want to lose out on opportunity. So what do? So here is a solution that I have come up with a lot of friends, family calling in and asking, how do we do this? I said, you know what, let me do the research for you guys, right? Let me put together the market direction, see what it is, right? I will do the market research, right? We can do a session if needed on how do you scale up, scale down, protect your investments. I will build the basket for you guys, right? I will keep it simple, build the basket. I found a brokerage that will allow me to build a basket and share it with the community, right? So in that way, we were all kind of balanced in this and try to make money. And we also know how much risk, how much to invest, how much to take out. Everybody is in a different situation. Some people are investing $1,000. Some people are ready to invest in 6 digits, 7 digits, right? Is it all done the same way? No. The risk levels are different. If you lose $1,000, probably not a pinch. But if you lose $1 million, you probably lost all of your life savings, right? So let's figure out how to do that. And I want to walk through how I want to build this basket and share it with you guys. But before we get into that, I want to open it up for the forum to see if you have any questions for me. Give me 1 second here. Let me unmute all of you. All right. Let's see. Anybody has any questions? All right. I thought we'll have more questions than that. Cool. If nobody has any questions, I will probably.
Can you explain the basket trading again?
Right. I will get into the basket trading in detail in a little bit. And anything specific to the trading or the slides in general. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you live charts on my trading platform. And I will also show you the basket on how we trade the basket and how I build the basket. What are the rules behind the basket? All right. So far so good. Then everybody understood what I talked about. Any details?
Hercules, Hemant here.
Yes.
One more question, we saw one of the chart in your analysis, that horizontal line, and
Right.
it is the shares are going in the negative direction since February.
Right.
How to judge that it is like already touched the bottom? Because we still doesn't know that this lockdown and the situation of COVID will continue
Right.
for a few more months, or it can reoccur, right? So
Right.
what are the suggestions to see that, okay, we are investing at the right time? Any time you invest would be a right time, but is there a trend to understand that what happened, say in 28, you said 2008 and 1999, some signals says, okay, you can now invest.
All right. Perfect. So let me get into the live charts. Looks like your questions are all related to the live charts here. Let me end the slide here. All right. For those that want to take my contact information, send me an email. You could use that. Make a note for yourself. I do not have all of your emails. You got invited through different channels. It wasn't a registration process. So if you want to send me an SMS or send me an email with questions you do not want to discuss over, the group, then we can definitely spend some time. I can give you a call or I can answer your questions on a one-on-one basis. Cool. All right. So this is, let me see, is this a live chart? It does move, must be live. So here is what I would say. One of you, Hemant, you asked me this question, right? Let's zoom in a little bit only on the market crash side of it, right? Assume you have $6,000. I want to take a small amount because it may apply for most of us here, right? Versus taking something at 100,000 or $500,000 here. So assume you have $6,000 and you are here. Let's say we go back a little bit in February 4th, right? The reason I would want to move this chart all the way on the right is it's been auto scale. It just appears that there wasn't any money previously, right? In all of this time frame, there was a lot of money previously. So before any of this market crash kicked in, I'm going to move it up a little bit, right? So let's start from here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? I have six different indications off of the market to say, are all of them lined up, right? When all of them lined up right here on December 6th, the price was about $313, right? And when the market moved further down, let's say to 12/27, December 27, you see a few red ones here. So what I would do as part of my trading is anytime you have a red, that means it is 5 greens, 1 red, right? That's the ratio, right? Here you will see 4 greens and 2 reds, right? That is how I will adjust my investment, pull off some of my funds, because I do not know if the market's going to retrace enough, if it's going to be, where it is, move back up. When it moves back up, everything else turns green again. So if you look at this, everything is back again into green mode. So can I invest again? Yeah, put back everything back again, 100% in. How long do you ride it? You'll have to move up and down. So now the question comes down to, for a lot of people, do I have to do this on a daily basis? If you want to be active, you have to do it on a daily basis, right? But if you want to be a little bit relaxed, you know what, I want to do it once a week kind of a thing, once a month kind of it, you have to figure out how many greens do I want to get out of? How many greens should I say stay in? How many reds do I have to get out of, right? Those are the decisions that can be made, but it depends how fast the market moves. So when it comes this side, at January 22nd, in that time frame, you can clearly see the market is actually changing direction. But there was a retracement. Everything came up green. Life is good. 300, 331 to 336. You might be thinking, all right, that's not much, 300 to 336, but it's a lots of money. How do we trade only these red and green colors? You can take S&P 500, which I have here as SPY. This is the ticker symbol, which is the ETF. You can do S&P 500 SPY options. You can do futures. You can do only S&P 5 all the way through, only with this one chart. You don't even have to touch any stocks, and there's a lot of money only with this red and green colors. So moving further here, what happened on February 21st, 22nd, 24th time frame, that was a weekend actually, I remember that day very well. So when it comes to that point, everything turned green. I mean, everything turned red. When it turns red, you should be ready to get out that one, get out of all your trades, cash as much as possible, get into short directions, and start going in the short direction. When the green comes in, try to switch a little bit, right? Pull something off, reduce your risk, right? Get some into cash positions, but continue to stay down, and you continue to stay down. What happened is here, you start to see some retracement. So to answer your question, Hemant, on this one, right? How
Hmm.
long is it going to go up? How long is it going to go down? We do not know. We just go by the market
Hmm.
direction and stay with it, and you scale up, scale down. When you see a full green, stay in. You don't know if it's going to go down or not, but as long as it is green, you make your money. When it starts showing the signs of red, switch direction, go into cash if you do not know how to short, but at least protect your investment.
Yeah. Hercules, what are these horizontal lines? Are this like one share which is like being
Now,
evaluated with different options? The
no,
how you said no?
no, let me explain that one. Very good question, actually. So, all right. So what happens in these is, we know, like, we use indices, right, to measure our stock market performance. All that people talk about is Dow Jones, S&P 500. At the most, you talk NASDAQ, Russell 1000, 2000, 3000. Some people have not heard about that one either. So we don't, the whole country is measured by Dow Jones and S&P 500. And a lot of us do not know that Dow Jones only comprises of 30 companies in this country. And if you look at S&P 500, it only has 500 companies that are top rated companies in that basket. And that's how the entire country's economy is graded by, right? Measured by. But how many companies do you really have on the stock market? You have thousands of companies, right? Why do you only have to measure market direction based on these big companies? So what happens is, before these big companies start crashing, the smaller ones are already giving you that indication, because the smaller ones cannot survive market conditions. The big ones can, right? So this, all these greens and reds that you see is a combination of NASDAQ, it's NYSE, the entire stock exchange. It's got volume in there. Generally, when you see volume in our charts, it only talks about volume. It does not talk how many of these are going up volume, how many of these are down volume. So this is a mix of all of that information put into colors, so a layman can understand, is it down or is it up? If it's red, it's down. If it's green, it's up. If it's 6 levels, we understand 1 out of 6 is good, or 2 out of 6 is good, or 5 out of 6 is good, or 6 out of 6 is good, right? So just by these colors, it gives you a very clear representation on what the market direction is. And not just that, right? It talks about the entire stock exchange. How many out of these thousands of stock are moving upwards versus how many are moving downwards for that particular day? So that'll give a clear representation on what market direction is. So if you look at technical, for those that understand technical analysis, they are all kind of lagging indicators. By the time the market's already made its move, you'll get a late indicator or a signal to get into the markets. But these ones are pretty close to real time. I hope that answered that question.
Yeah.
Right. Sounds good. So this is the live one. So now question comes down to, how much money could be made from here to here, right? It depends on how much your investment is and how much your appetite is, right, for risk, right? There's $1 million or more in this one with the way it went down, right? Now, if you look at how much recovery did happen from the top, right? So what I will do is I will use one of these tools, is a drawing tool called Fibonacci retracement, and clearly says from here to here, if it is 100% move, if it has to move back to this point, which is 279 and 12 cents, it is 50% recovery. And you see where the cursor is located right here? You will not believe that the entire market crash that has happened, we are still thinking by market conditions, it's bad conditions. But if you look at it, the market has already recovered 50% of it, starting from bottom 323 all the way to 49, right? So that is about what, 2 weeks, 50% recovery. So do we wait for it until market conditions say yes? By the time market conditions says yes, we are good, everybody is back to work, lives become normal, market's already retraced, you lost all the opportunity there. All right, so now let's, in the meantime, I'll try to pull up basket-based information. And if anybody has any questions, I'll take some questions in the meantime. All right, and looks like anybody has any questions. So don't hesitate to ask questions. If there's any basic questions, advanced questions, don't think twice, just shoot it, right? It could be helpful for the others too that are probably hesitant to ask questions. All right, so here is the brokerage. Motif. This is one of the upcoming stock brokerages out there. It's pretty strong, growing very fast. And what they've introduced is they've called a concept of Motif, where you can build your own basket. Now, what is the definition of a basket? A basket is like, it's like an index. It's like your own ETF. It's your own bucket that you can build, right? And for those that are active in trading, imagine opening about 20 to 30 stocks to trade and try to monitor, manage them. It gets really difficult. And on top of that, if you're a swing trader or trying to manage it on an active basis, on a daily basis, it gets really difficult to manage it. You got work, we got kids, we got too many things going on. Do we have to wait for market direction, the volatility? Do we stay? Do we not stay? Don't know how to make decisions. So we put it into a basket, right? In this stock brokerage, it's called a Motif, right? You build a Motif. This is how it could be. This is one of the Motifs that I built, right? It says created by me right here. And the date creation was April 2nd, 2020. So I've been getting calls. I did not want to use these for myself, but I said, you know what? A lot of calls are coming through. Let me see if I can build a basket, give it out there so the community can start using it, right? It'll help the friends here. So I built a basket, and you will have to ask me, what is the basis of building this basket, right? So I do a lot of programming with a lot of stock market data analysis and all of this to make these decisions, right? So what did I do this time? I said, let me pull up all of those top S&P 500 stocks that have been active in S&P 500 in the last market crash, right? And say, okay, this is how much they have taken a hit. And I would like to know, let me pull up another chart to say the last market crash, right? So we get an idea. So this was the last bottom of the market crash right here, right? I wanted to do a research to say, give me all of the stocks from the stock market that have kind of moved from the bottom of the last market crash. And I want like a 3-month recovery. If you look at this one, this is March, right? I want like April, May, June. I want those that I want to see immediate recovery, high returns in that recovery, and which ones are those, right? Then I kind of filtered that and said, let me go into this Motif and put it into the Motif. And the Motif allows you only 30. I am saying only 30, but 30 is a big number. 30 is a lot of stocks to add. Let me see if it shows here. All of these together totally are 30 stocks, right? And how are they divided into? It's not one of them. If you're comfortable with only technology, if you're comfortable only with oil and stuff, it's good. You have some kind of a specialty there to make decisions. But if you look at financial side, I have 56.4 heavyweight on the financial side of it, because the financial side of the market takes a big hit no matter what kind of market crashes it is, which means the recovery is a lot faster from the financial side of it. When I say financial, it could be banks, it could be insurance companies, right? It could be trading companies. It could be several different ones into the financial sector, right? Now, we'll go through these columns again. So if you look at the bottom, it's consumer goods, right? We have a tire company, we have a carpet company, we have Whirlpool here, we got Harley Davidson, all of these companies, services here, right? We know some of them. One of them is a cruise company. We know it took a big hit. One is a hotel, one is Expedia. We know that. One is a beauty company. We got some other companies here on the industry side of it. So if it is all diversified, if one industry takes a hit, it does not take much of a hit on you, on your basket, which means you're still good to go. But if you pick only one or two of the companies and they all lose money, it's not diversified very well, then you're in bad shape. So that is how the decision was made. That is how this motif, the basket, was built. Here are the ticker symbols, and performance wise and the market cap wise. Market cap is an important factor for trading. We want to make sure that there is enough market cap. That means it's a large company. They're all in $1 billion. If you say, if it's like 216 Bank of America, right? So they're all huge companies, but have taken a hit in the market because of market conditions, right? And if you notice the right side column, do not pay too much attention to this one, because this is history. This is 1 year return, and we know everybody's taken a hit. And this is the recovery that is already taken, because most of them have taken a hit up to 50%, right? So what is current performance? I created this basket on April 2nd, 2020, right? And the last day, which I think was Thursday, because Friday was Good Friday, market was closed, it was 5% up on one day, right? And return since creation from February 2nd is 26%. The average that one would expect returns in a stock market on an annual basis is anywhere between 7% and 10%. If you hit 10%, people are very happy, right? But if you get returns like this in a week for 26%, it's amazing. This is where I would say do not lose opportunities, right? Timing is critical, because whenever you get into the market, it may be a late entry. You may lose money even though the basket is strong, right? But that's how you'll have to scale up, scale down, start small, is moving up, you're making profits, keep moving some more in. If you do all in, you know the rules of all in. That means your risk is way too high. You will probably not stand a chance, or you might make a lot of money, right? That is, but I would go risk in a small way, go little by little in. If you have like $10,000, why not try like $3,000 first? All right, it's moving in the right direction. Let me move another 3,000, and now let me move another 4,000, and good, all in now in different stages. So when it starts crashing, now let me move some of it out. Let me move 2,000 out, 3,000 out. But if I see all reds, kind of switch direction immediately, right? How do I make money when it's going short? Yes, we can build another basket where I can put and say, trade these when the market's crashing. These are the ones that are going to make you money, right? We build a basket. Cool. So there was one question around the basket. Any question around the basket? No questions? All right. So let me ask a question on your behalf, maybe. Nobody has asked me, how do I get access to this basket? Unless you've been making notes here and taking down these symbols. So this is what I would do. This is a brokerage firm. It's not my tool, right? So it needs a registration process. And in order to kind of trade this basket, you will have to go through a premium service. But if I send you an invite through this service, you will get 3 months of premium service. So if you send me your emails, I will send in an invite, and I will keep these baskets active here, and send me your contact information. In that way, I will also post, because basket is not number one. What's number one is market direction. This is more critical. So send me your contact information. I have not decided how to do it yet, if it's a WhatsApp group or how, but I will find a means to communicate to you and what today's colors are. If it's all green, I will post to you somewhere. It'll only take a few minutes. The program is all in place, right? I do not want to make any changes, invest into this one yet, but I will give you information end of day to say what market direction are we on today by the end of day. And that way you take a look at this one, then you go back into this basket and you decide how much to put in here. Do we have to scale up, scale down? Do we rebalance? And I will post that information in that channel. All right. Any more questions at this point?
Hello, Hercules. This is Mahendran.
Yes.
Is it the right time to invest in the gold mining company or gold ETF?
Good point. We can pull up some of your individual requests that way. Okay. But for that, anything, well, very good point in a way, right? Just because the market direction is long does not mean you can invest into anything, right? So gold works a little differently. The currencies work a little differently. I've traded the currencies markets maybe in 2005-06 timeframe for a few years there. But once I got into the stocks, I did not want to trade on the currency side. But let's look at gold. Gold is one of those that could be used for hedging purposes. Okay. But let's get into, you know what, let me do this. I'm going to switch over from here. GLD is one of the ETFs for gold, right? So I'll have to put a lot more technicals into this, and I'm going to change the way this looks, right? I'm going to put a different set of indicators that are custom built by myself, and don't get overwhelmed with all of this stuff. This is the information that I use. You know what, let me get rid of some of them so it does not scare you guys. All right. So to answer your question, where was the right time to get out of gold? I will use multiple different combinations here. This is my driver here in the bottom where it'll say how long to stay versus how long to, when to get out. And if you see all these different arrows, I will decide how much to scale in, scale out. But once it crosses this green line and some more aspects that go in there, this is called the ATR, average true range line. When it gets there, I get out of it, right? Because if you're in gold when you started, let's say right in this spot, you made a lot of money, but when it is retracing back, you didn't know how much longer you need to stay versus not. In general, gold should react opposite to market direction. So if you notice from December on, you know what, I'm looking at the wrong chart. Give me 1 second, because this is history data. So I'll change this one to today. Sorry about that. This is all live data, by the way. So what happened with the gold situation is gold has been reacting similar to market. I could have put a comparison chart here, but has been has always been opposite to market, but at some point it broke that rhythm and has been behaving independent of market conditions. So if you notice, it had gone up way high at this part 159, which this is just an ETF, right? Is it in a very strong direction right now? Based on my indications here, it's long direction. How long do I stay? You have to ride until this pattern is broken. On my chart, I can say that based on this indication that it's still a long, but you also have to understand, watch out for support lines and resistance line, because I'm going to draw one right here. That is the basics of your technical analysis. If it crosses this one right here, I would say stay in, but if it touches that one and you see a rebound happening, you will have to get out of it.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions? Individual stocks, anybody wants to pick up to see how it looks like? All right, let me gather up a few of them. Let's say airline stock, right?
Yes.
See if anybody is interested in airlines, right? The market started crashing from there. Earlier than the market crashed, the airline started. These are signs that we could see. If we run a basket through and see which ones are crashing, that is also one way to find out. Because the market started crashing only at this part, but this one started crashing way before that, right? So you start noticing here, the market started retracing, but this one retraced a little bit, dropped again, and stands out there compared to market, shouldn't say market direction. right? So is it a good entry? I would say as a combination of a basket is a good entry, but all by itself, 100% in is not a good entry. So if we go back into our basket, there should be some airline stock also, if I'm not wrong. All right, we have Royal Caribbean. Let's look at that. That's a cruise company. That took a huge hit, right? But if you notice, it's kind of recovering on the market crash from the market crash here. But have we really seen any kind of business improvement on the cruises? It's not, but it's moving up, right? How much did it move up from $20 or less than $20, moved up $40? What is it, like 50% up, right? But has the industry on the cruises really improved? It did not, but the stock moves up because that's the optimism the market has for a future value. Cool. All right. Last one then. If you have any questions, we will answer these questions. Otherwise, you have my contact information. You can reach out. I will connect back with you guys to see what will be the mode of informing you market direction, so you guys can take the benefit of this one.
Sure. I have one last question, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Compared to Royal those three
Cruises.
Cruise companies, like Norwegian Cruise, the one you showed just now, I think Royal Cruise, I think.
This is Royal Cruise. I think this is CCL is another one.
CCL and Norwegian, and there is one more.
You have to give me the ticker symbol on that one.
Yeah, I forgot. Okay.
That is my problem with the markets. Every time people want to pick up a conversation, they reach out to me and say, "Hey, how did you do in the market today?" I said, "Good, not good," because there's always going to be not good days, right? And then they say, "What symbols did you trade on today?" And it's only been an hour ago, right? I traded, and I don't remember what I traded on. And people sometimes wonder what's going on because I have programs to scan and programs to trade. So I'm not really active doing it myself. So let's see, NCLH, Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, NCLH. Right?
CCL is for Carnival,
right? Yes. So we've seen CCL, we've seen RCL, this is NCLH, right? Yeah. We've seen RCL. They are all about the same, but the holdings, depending on whether they are foreign based or they're US based, the stimulus that kicks in also makes a difference. So if you look at CCL, it moved from $8 to $12, $13 right here, but it recovered back up to $19 at some point, dropped back again, right? So we'll have to also consider those factors in to say, is it US based? Is the stimulus package going to help these companies out? Things like that. But if you think, what, I don't have that time to research, but I'm pretty sure the package is going to help, take all of them, put it into a bucket, trade with it, right? It's going to average out and you're still going to be in a positive direction if you don't want to get into that depth of trading. But always do basket-based trading. Do not go pick up on individual stocks. Say, what do we think about Walmart, right? Everybody else is doing good. Walmart should be doing great, right? But see what happened when the market was really crashing. The Walmart did good, but when the rest of them are going up, this one is kind of coming downwards. All the way from 128 when the market was down, this guy was the highest. This one's coming. So everybody's reaction is different. Why go on one and take a chance while you can put it into a basket and then diversify?
Okay.
Cool. Any more questions? All right, cool. So if we don't have, okay, looks like Sam has a question. He raised his hand. Did I not unmute you, Sam? Oh, there you go.
Hi,
right.
Hercules. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry, I thought I unmuted everybody. Let me do that again. All participants are unmuted. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Okay. Thank you, first of all, for taking this.
Sure.
And happy Easter ahead of time, you and everyone.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So the basic thing is, this is a lot of information, but a lot of assumptions are also in. Like, let's say it's a day trading, right? So you're doing one day at a time.
Would not call day trading at this point. If you're doing one day, it would still be swing trade, but
Yeah.
yes, it's still active trading.
Right. So I've seen some people doing it for like 4 hours of a candlestick instead of one full day
Right.
when they do a swing trade.
Uh-huh.
Is that something you would recommend? Because the pattern kind of looks different, little bit different.
No, absolutely. So let me take S&P 500. You got a very good point there, but I did not want to confuse the audience here. So it's very simple. You change this, or if you guys keep a little track on the way the chart is, right? It has a big drop, went up. This is a daily one. And for those that do not understand candlesticks, I'm sorry about that one. Candlesticks, when you get deeper into trading, you generally use candlesticks. You will not use a regular line chart, because a candle has a representation of 4 points: your open, close, low, and high. It makes a significant difference when you're trading. Right? So let me switch this, and every candle here represents one day, but based on Sam's request, if we change this to, let's say, 4 hours is, how many minutes is that? 240 minutes. Let's switch it to this one. And I will change the number of days. So it loads up, let's say 100 days there. This is all real-time market data happening here. So bear with me. All right. See what's going on. All right, so if it's not pulling up data here, I'm going to go, oh, there you go. So this is from January 3rd all the way through in 4-hour chart. The patterns are going to be different. Anytime you reduce your time frame, Sam, this is where we will be going to a faster, more active kind of trading, and you have to be available unless you have a program to manage all of that stuff. There will be more returns, there will be more trades, the risk will be higher, but then your overhead, your costs of doing business will be higher too, because every time you get in and out, nowadays, all of them are commission free. So there's no overhead on commission, which is huge. But at the same time, whenever you open a trade, there is a spread value that goes in there, which is when you buy something, you don't get it at market price, you get it at an ask price, which is higher than the market price. When you sell something, you get it at a bid price, which is below the market price. So you'll have to really watch out on your spreads and pick those ticker symbols that have very low, tight spreads. But is it going to be different? It's going to be different. It's going to be more active. So the longer you want to be in there, you change your time frame. You say, you know what, I don't want to be doing daily trades, right? Switch your chart into weekly charts. How does the weekly chart look like? You know what, weekly charts improving, right? But you will be late in the game, but late in the game is fine, but depending on your risk, reduce your risk levels, right? Decrease your positions. If you're increasing your time frames, you decrease your positions, decrease your investment into each one of those ticker symbols.
Okay. Yeah, that's good information.
Nice.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions from the group?
One more, Hercules. I know you told me to stay out of this, but my mind always keeps telling me if I have to do options on this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So I don't know if you're saying direction versus the right. If it's going way too high, you could
see. I have some options going on right now, right? Since it depends on your experience level. If you're comfortable with options, you don't have to get out of this chart or go into any other chart. You just take this one, you buy options here. But I look for a certain factors within options, right? You have to watch out for spread because it's going to be really expensive. You have to watch out if you're doing weekly options, you're doing monthly options, right? I prefer on the monthly side unless I'm planning to do more on day trading side of it, right? And then the second or the last one that I also look into is SPY has all the characteristics you need, so you don't have to worry about the volatility and the open interest and all of that. I look for delta as one of those Greek alphabets in there. I would want to see if it is at least over 50, 55 to 70 or so would be minimum that I would look for, which is how you make money per dollar based on delta. So if you're not familiar with delta, I would say research a little bit on delta and not invest in something whose delta is low.
Okay. And the time frame you said like 1 month from now, or?
I generally do monthly options, but if you're comfortable doing weekly options, it's perfectly fine too. But keep monitoring, because the leverage is so high in options, the volatility, you might lose a lot. And watch out also on the time decay, because that's where you lose a lot of money if you don't take action fast enough.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Right, we are 7 Mountain Time right now. If we do not have any questions, we're going to close it right here. Let me see.
Hercules.
Yes.
Hercules, I think there were some questions came in. Looked like Samir asked a question.
Oh, you know what? Good point. Let me see if I'm going to check. Give me 1 second here.
He's asking, do you still subscribe to this data?
As in my programs, or is it the market data? If it is my programs, I'm not really selling or doing any subscriptions at this point. But like I said, I will find a way to share this information without any subscription fee or anything. At this point, the idea is to just help our community to make sure they don't lose out, and at the same time, opportunity to make money.
I think Samir is asking if you could unmute him.
Oh, I see. Hang on. I thought I did unmute on all of them, but sorry about that. Let's say Samir, unmute all. All participants are unmuted. Samir.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Hercules.
Samir. Yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead.
So how do you get this data?
Oh, see, this, I have a data subscription of all the ticker symbols, markets, ETFs, and all that. Then I have my programs running on this to kind of to churn this and make meaningful information. This is exactly how we do in normal world, right? In an IT world, you get all of this raw data from all different places, right? And then you kind of make some intelligent thoughts, business rules around that to make it profitable for ourselves. So I get raw data and I build programs with that to come up with this output in this reds and green colors.
I see. So you subscribe the data for your own personal use?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I see. Okay. Yeah, no, this is good information. So as far as this Motive is concerned, Motive is a trading tool?
Yes, it's a brokerage firm, exactly like Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade or any of those other ones, but it's got a different touch to it, a different concept to it. The guy who started this company, his name is Hardeep Singh, and it was a brilliant idea. He was up in a lot of news channels when this thing actually came up, and you can create your own custom baskets was an unknown thing when he started. And it's really impressive if you're able to trade like 30 stocks in one basket and not really dealing with every individual stock. It's going to be painful for those that are actively trading. You know, it's a pain to monitor every single one of them.
So in a basket, if you have 30 stocks, when you sell every one of those stocks? Is that how it works?
You can pick and choose individual one, or you can get rid of the whole basket, or you can scale down on the basket by X number of dollars. Let's say you have like $50,000 in one basket, and you say, you know what, the market's going reverse direction. I would like to get out of half of my position. You can reduce your basket to 50% of it. Or you can go to individual stocks there and get rid of individual ones, so your basket kind of shrinks.
I see. And when you use this data for your personal, you do day trading or you do?
I do a combination of everything, because I have a regular job like most of us do. So depending on what's going on, if I'm day trading, I'm only trading futures these days. I don't touch stocks for day trading.
Yeah.
But if it is swing trades, I definitely pick up a combination on options and stocks. And these days, I've been trying to find a basket to help out friends mostly. to see what's the right thing. And that's the kind of research I did. I have some more pending research that I could share with the group to see what kind of performance did we have on companies before the market crash happened. For no reason, all those big companies that have strong fundamentals have crashed. So logically speaking, with common sense, you would see when the market's coming back to normal, they should all get back to where they were, right? At least hypothetically. Can we find a basket for that? Yeah, we can build a basket on that one, right?
Yeah.
All right, Sam, you still have your hand up. Let me lower your hand up.
Replace, there's one more thing. And you explained to me that those baskets, some of them are created by you. There are some motive baskets already, right?
No, your voice is going in and out. If you could help me out, please. Repeat the question.
So I was asking that you showed me that there is a motif basket,
right?
And also, your baskets.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I don't know whether everybody understood the motive basket. That's right. Something.
Good point. You know what? We can spend a little bit of time on that one here. Let me share my screen back on.
You may want to mute yourself.
Right. Give me 1 second here. Let me.
There.
Oh, there you go. Cool. So let me put the motif back on. Right. All right. So. Give me 1 second here. It's coming back up. Motif is pretty good at logging you off, so I'll have to get back into. All right, cool. So, can someone confirm if you're able to see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. So this is custom motifs, right? These are community motifs. But here is what I want to show you. If we go into motifs that are created by the company motif itself, they are called professional motifs. When we do that, there is no expense to that, but it's an overnight trade. So let's say we go by professional motifs, and let me pick up, how do you make money when the market's crashing, right? Let's see if there's a professional motive for that one, right? So if we do, see, gas is one that it really picked up in the recent, but if we look for bear markets, right? And you see the bear US market. So yep. These are motifs that are already built by the company motive, right? A basket. So you can get out of long positions, right? And jump into a US market motive that is built by the company. And here are the ones that they have. And it's not just that, right? If you specialize into healthcare industry, right? Or if you have any kind of experience, background on the functional side of the business, that you know how the market works, right? Just go in there and put, let's say you want to go back into motives. You put any industry you want, there would be a motive around that. If you want any kind of semiconductors, right? Or you want anything to do with 5G side of it, that's the current trend that's happening. Let's do 5G for those who understand that side of it, right? That's one of the top trends right now. And there will be a motive for that. And if you don't know the companies that are impacting, right? See, there is professional motives. Here are the ones. These are the community motives. Here are the ones. Let's open up one of them. But is it going to be that fast moving and getting you the results that you want in today's market? May not be, because they probably did not take as much hit to have that kind of a recovery to come through. Right? So here, if you look, semiconductors, 40% on that, 36% on this. Or if you think, you know what, I like this motive, but I do not want to be so diversified. I only want to pick a few of them, right? I've traded TSM before. I've given some recommendations to my friends on TSM. We made some money on this, right? Qualcomm is good, Qorvo is good. So I said, you know what, let me only pick like 10 of them. You can make your own custom motif with 10 of them and put it into your own basket, right? So it's a very useful tool. Whether you're following anything that I'm trying to recommend here, go through, or you want to build your own, it's a very useful tool. But what I would say is send me your email. I will send you a link so you'll get that 3 months premium subscription. Otherwise, it's going to be $20 if you're doing community related motifs to trade, or even if you have to trade your personal ones, it's going to be $20 a month as a charge for that subscription. Otherwise, you'll have to pay a commission to open in and out on basket trading. If you're doing professional trading, professional motifs, then there's no charge to that because you're using their own motifs built by that company.
Can we use your basket? Can you share your basket?
Oh,
Is it
yeah, I
possible?
can definitely share my basket. I made my basket public. So once you get
Okay.
access to that, you just go there, right? And say, and this is just one basket that I created, right? But then
Mhm.
I would eventually put up more baskets and find a channel to communicate to you guys and say, you just put my name, don't have to find for that basket by name, but I named the basket as fast recovery because the idea is to come back from the market crash. And that's the name of mine, fast recovery. So you click on that one. You can put names, or you can pull up motifs created by that person, right? And there you go, created by so-and-so, so-and-so. So here is the buy. You can do a buy and say how much money you want to invest in that, right? And you want to copy that one, make it into your own motif and pull out some things, put some things in, you can always do that. That's allowed by these guys.
So how frequently you change this items in this basket?
See,
Or
this is the first
is it
time I'm
program driven, or you decide?
No, it's a manual one because these guys do not have any APIs, but it is program driven to identify the contents in the baskets on my platform. Then I feed it in manually into their system.
Okay. Okay. So if you change anything, is there any alerts on this one? Let's say you remove 5 from this basket.
Right.
So is there any alerts on it?
See,
Let's say I trust your programs and I invested that I buy this motif. Then you modified this one. So
right.
how I will know?
You can set up alerts on that one. There is an alert system also.
Okay. Okay.
But the channel that we would set up, I would post in there if I've rebalanced that motif due to any reason.
Okay.
But for market crash purposes, I think this is reasonable enough considering the last crash. But I will create a different one or update it based on most recent crash and come up with an updated portfolio.
If I want to buy this fast recovery basket or invest on this one, what is the minimum amount that I can?
I think you're good for 400, 500 bucks to get started, explore with that. It's not much.
Okay.
Right. It's not much. You can go a high level too, but that's not much. You can explore on this one with small amounts.
Hey, Hercules, I've been talking to a lot of these investment managers from JP Morgan to Morgan Stanley, and all of these guys are saying there's going to be a future opportunity. What do you think?
I see. That's what I don't make a call of that kind, because those guys are in the business to talk to people. I'm in the business for myself. So when it shows me a green sign, I get in. I don't talk about tomorrow. I get in, I stay as long as it's green. My program says it's green. Don't listen to the news guys. Don't listen to the fund managers, because that's their job, right? They talk on TV all day. They have all the bells and whistles. Are they trading like I'm trading on a day trading? No, right? So do they have to talk and convince people because they have people's money that they're managing? Yes, but that's my say on that. I don't want to comment on those guys because you listen to news all the time. I'm always smiling and laughing when they talk about it because market's crashing. So I just stick to my program, Samir.
Yeah.
Okay. One last question. So let's say I bought this motif, and if I want to sell it, what's the procedure?
Our procedure, instead of buy, you go and sell it. So in your portfolio, when you look up your dashboard,
okay,
your account information, exactly like you trade in the stock market, once you buy and you're ready to close it, you go and say sell Motif, and it'll close everything in that basket for you.
And follow-up question, Hercules, on this.
Ah.
Will that the rate when we submit or click on sell would be taken, or it's the end of the day?
This one is always end of the day. There is a real time too. Part of the subscription you'll get in a month, 3 real-time operations, and then 5 next market open operations.
Okay.
Right. So it is not active. If you guys are looking for active, you might still want to keep your account in here just for the sake of having access to all these buckets. You're not going to lose money if you just leave it out there, but this is a very useful tool for creating buckets and baskets and trading on these baskets and going by, instead of researching every single stock, you put like a social concept, any concept, you put health, sector, industry based, or even if it is, I don't know, there will be a lot of COVID related motives also there, right? You can pick on any subject, there will be a motive there. So depending on your interest.
And does it hold true for even buy? Like when I buy, say in the morning 9 a.m., it will still be the end day closing.
End of day closing, unless you pick real time, because you have 3 opportunities on your subscription. Otherwise, it's like $9.95 or something that you'll have to pay for per basket. It's still cheap considering 30 stocks going in, but do you really want to spend? Depends on your account balance basically. If you have in thousands, it's not much, but if you're only opening like $500, $9.95 is a big percent.
Okay, so they do have the option to go the real-time purchase and sell, but with a subscription price. Okay, got it.
Yes.
So if
is
you
it similar
this,
to?
Sorry. Go ahead, Hemant.
Go ahead, Hemant.
No, I was just switching the topic. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just last question. If you delete this fast recovery, what happens to the others who already bought this one?
You are already invested into the individual stocks on there. And one other point that I did mention, so I'll answer your question, and you should be good still there, even if I archive this motive. The other one good thing about this is if our account size is small and we want to invest into Amazon, you want to, like, let's say Google and all these big guys like $2,000, $1,000 kind of stock price, you can still have only $1,000 and put in your basket like Amazons and Googles and all these big guys, and the company will buy fractional shares for you, and you'll be still invested into multiple companies. Cool. Good questions there. Hope that was helpful. Any other questions?
No, thanks, Hercules, for all the insight. It was really informative. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in.
Thanks.
So I'm going to close it at this point. Hopefully my recording went through fine, and I will share it with the group once you have your email addresses come through. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful night. We'll catch up next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks.